Hey everyone, my name's Jack, and in today's video I want to give you an CFS update. So basically, before I start this video, I do want to say that I have made some improvements, a lot of improvements since the last video I made in 2021 in October. There have been a number of reasons why I haven't posted an update since then. Mainly because I haven't wanted to focus on the illness itself. Like whenever I make one of these videos, I'm like talking about my illness and I'm trying not to like focus on it too much. The second reason is because I've been dealing with a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that have taken up a lot of time and just a lot of stress going on. So before I start this video, I do just want to give a tribute to Jack Phillips. Unfortunately, he was in a support group that I was in on Facebook, a positive support group, and unfortunately he took his own life. And I do want to just like put out there that people do commit suicide because of this illness, and I don't want this to be like a trigger warning for anyone, but if you are feeling suicidal, please reach out to people, build yourself a support network. I know that people who are unwell, some of you don't have a supportive family, or people, you know, in your own support network don't believe you're ill, or just don't see the severity of what you're suffering with. So just make sure you to reach out to people, and that might be someone who's fully recovered, who understands where you are now because they were there themselves.
Because I know how horrific this illness is, and the only thing worse than how horrific it is how poorly it's understood by doctors as well as family and loved ones.
The last update I made was back in October 2021. Now a lot of stuff has happened since then. Basically, I was dealing with a difficult, very difficult neighbour who was playing loud music late at night. He was slamming his door, he was like keeping me up until 3 AM. The police were involved. It's just been an absolute nightmare. I can literally hear this through earplugs. I was sending email after email after email to my housing association, and I could not get rid of him. I complained so many times. I went to the police, I went to like the housing ombudsman. Nothing seemed to get rid of this guy. I listed all the things he was breaching in his tenancy agreement, and they would not remove him. Things got really stressful, especially with the email writing and organising meetings and getting the police involved and police reports. It was just so draining. I know that is why I didn't improve during that time. I was so stressed. Basically, through this process, I actually made friends with some of the other neighbours who were really nice, and things got really heated between the neighbour living below me, who was causing all the issues, and one of the other neighbours. And basically, they were like going at it, having loads of arguments. I think at this point I was like, I don't think I can live here anymore. Like, I'm going to have to move out somewhere else.
Yeah, of course.
Get it into your skull! I don't even know you!
Well, stop coming over here then.
Why are you doing this?
I'm not doing anything.
I've had enough!
I'm doing nothing.
Your boyfriend, I mean!
He's in bed, you.
Basically, when we got to Christmas, I hit rock bottom, literally. I was so down, so depressed, chronically ill, stuck in this horrendous living situation that's causing me so much stress, so much trauma, and I can't get out of it. Basically, I just didn't know what to do. I was just so glad that I had the neighbours and like the support network around me that I needed. But yeah, I pretty much went back to being bedbound most days. Like, I just had to lay down. I think the stress of it was just impacting me so much. And basically, I spoke to my mum, and even though I moved out of my parents' house because of issues at my, at my family home, my mum just said, look, come back home. It's got to be better living with us than living there. Like, I don't know what I would have done if I hadn't had my parents' house to go back to. It was literally awful. I don't know why the housing association wouldn't remove him. They're called the Guinness Partnership. Just letting everyone out there know that I think they're a pile of trash. So basically, after Christmas, I was literally rock bottom, and one of my best mates, Jake, he knew that I was like really low. He came over to mine and was like, hey man, do you want to go surfing over New Year's Eve? And New Year's Eve is actually my birthday. So yeah, I was like, dude, I I can't barely get out of bed and look after myself, let alone go surfing. But if you've watched my previous video, you'll know that going in the sea had been like a huge aspect of my recovery, and the cold water in like a wetsuit really helped. Like the movement and stuff really helped me like pump my lymphatic system, and just kind of the cold water seemed to like reset my nervous system and make me feel better. So for some reason I was like, well, I'm rock bottom as rock bottom can be. I just thought like, what harm is going to happen if I actually try and go surfing? So basically we left just before my birthday. We drove to a small quiet seaside town and we actually bought surfboards. We drove all the way there. I managed the hour's drive, and we rented this Airbnb, and him and his girlfriend looked after me. They like helped cook food for me and stuff. But honestly, just getting away from the stress, I swear I made improvements just in 3 days, just the stress releasing. Yeah, we went down and we got in the sea and we were on these big foam 8-foot surfboards. It just did my mental state so much good. Like legit, I didn't think I was going to be able to surf, and I managed to catch my first wave. And the wetsuit in the sea is actually like, it helps you float. It's very buoyant, so it's like wearing a life jacket anyway. And it wasn't freezing cold either. It was quite a warm, mild New Year's Eve. And honestly, even though we were out there for like an hour, I was just bobbing around in the water, I managed to get on the board, catch quite a few waves. We just had such a good time. Like, it did my mental state so much good. And I think if anyone out there is bedbound and they're just really struggling, like, I'd really suggest like maybe investing in a wetsuit if you live near a lake or the sea. Just getting in the water, for me, it's been a huge part of my recovery journey, and it was just so good to get away. It was the first time I left my hometown, like my home county, in over 4 years, so it just did me the world of good. Yeah, like my friends just helped look after me. They were always checking with me, checking I was all right, checking I wasn't drowning or anything. And again, it just seemed to bring this energy to me, and it was just like this spiritual energy of being connected to the ocean and the waves and the sea. Whether the salt water was detoxifying me, I don't know, but it just did me so much good getting away and getting away from all that stress and like pumping that stress out of my body physically. So basically we came home back to reality, and basically straight after the New Year period, my neighbour, the troublesome one living below me, put a knife in his window, like taped a blade in his window with a death threat towards one of the other neighbours called Nick. And this is one of the most dumbest things this guy has done, because I took a picture of it, sent it straight to the police. I stayed up till 4 AM with Nick's partner, literally stayed with her because she was scared of what was going on. And basically we had to wait for the police to turn up, and the police never even turned up, but they came the next day and took reports and everything. They gave him a massive warning, and unfortunately him doing that did not get him booted out. They didn't evict him even after that. So I just said, look, something's got to happen now. This guy has put a knife in his window. He's made a death threat. Like, what is going on? Can you please tell me, because this is affecting my health so much? And they frustratingly still refused to move him. But yeah, they agreed to move me and move me somewhere else. So I'm now currently, as it stood today, on this like bidding system where I'm trying to find somewhere else to move to. But yeah, at least I've got that. Whereas when I last posted a video, that wasn't the case. Like, my housing association was doing nothing. I was getting nowhere. I was just stressing out. Whereas now I've moved back to my parents, which isn't great, but at least I'm not there around that drama. So yeah, at the end of winter, beginning of springtime, I was literally at rock bottom, like, because of all the stress I've been through. I wasn't progressing much with my illness, and I just said, F it, I'm just gonna have to start enjoying myself and almost like submitting to the illness, and just say I'm just gonna try and live the best life I can with this illness. So basically my mum's friend, he teaches people to paraglide, and I used to dream of flying when I was bedbound. I just never thought I'd ever be able to do it. And basically I met him, and he really kindly agreed to teach me to paraglide for free. Now this sounds absolutely crazy because you need to be fit to paraglide, but we talked it through and we figured out a way that I could do it where if I take off from the top of a hill and there's a road at the bottom of the hill, then I could fly down, land at the bottom of the hill, and then get picked up by a car and driven back up to the top of the hill and then go and do it again. So I was like, this is the only way I'm going to be able to do it. But unfortunately the place where they train people to do your day one of your course, the first day of EP, is a lot of ground handling, and you do it in this big field. It basically took me 4 days to get through the whole of day one of EP. It took me a long time. But yeah, eventually after doing all the ground handling, I got in the sky for the first time, and it felt amazing. Like, literally, I took off from the top of this hill and I was like holding onto the controls. I was like, what am I doing, man? What am I doing? I'm ill. Like, I've been in bed for 4 years and I'm in the sky flying. And I did just do top to bottoms, and it just felt incredible. Like literally, like I took this mat and I'd like drive there, lay down in my car, then get out, lay it down on the floor, lay down, and then I'd have it there with like a pillow, and then I'd go and take off over a hill and fly, and then I'd maybe do that twice, and it just literally everyone was so supportive. Like even on day one, like I don't look ill, and I basically had to get out this camping chair and sit down, and everyone was like, why are you sitting down? And I was like, I had to explain what I've been through. But honestly, it just did my nervous system so much good. It got rid of all this anxiety and all this. It was almost like, yes, it's an adrenaline rush, but it gave me like this endorphin rush, this serotonin rush, this just sense of joy that I couldn't get anywhere else. Another thing I did during the spring was I started working with a doctor in London. He treats like Lyme disease and works with a lot of patients who are chronically ill. I did go to see him quite a few times, but it was just difficult getting to see him every single week because he wanted to see me weekly for these like IVs. One treatment he wanted me to do is this thing called phospholipid exchange therapy, where he puts this IV into my arm. Unfortunately, it didn't make me feel very well, but he tried. He also recommended this thing called a laser watch, a Spectre laser watch, which sounds crazy, but it's like a watch you wear around your wrist, and it shines lasers, very powerful lasers, into the vein, and basically your blood pumps around your whole body. I think it's every few minutes. So basically, if the laser's on for 20 minutes, it will kill pathogens within the blood. But unfortunately, I couldn't tolerate it. Literally started giving me a Herxheimer reaction, detox reaction. I was extremely exhausted and I had to stop using it. He then tested me for mold and said that I'm very high, testing very high in mold toxicity. So that's why he gave me the laser watch. And I have a feeling that mold was coming from my flat near the river. It's very kind of dampy there. And maybe that's a good reason why I've moved back with my parents anyway. Basically during the spring, there was more stress with the neighbour. I was still pushing these emails, like writing these huge emails that were taking me like 3 days to write, and I'd send it off and then get a reply, and I'd have to respond to that reply, and there was about 100 emails I wrote in total that were really long. I was just so like bitter, but that they weren't moving him even though he was breaking his tenancy agreement. And basically I came out, I don't know what it was, whether it was a detox reaction from other treatments that I was doing. Basically I woke up with this really weird like rash on my abdomen. I went to the doctors, and one doctor said, oh, that's just a spider bite, and gave me antibiotics, and I really didn't want to take antibiotics, but I did anyway. That didn't clear it. They gave me an antibiotic cream, and that didn't clear it. And then another doctor said that's shingles. So I did a shingles swab, and that test came back negative for shingles. They gave me a really strong antiviral. So I took them, and I also saw a nutritionist as well who gave me some tea tree oil to put on it, and it eventually cleared up. Still to this day, I have no idea what it was. It's just crazy when your body does weird things like that and you don't know what's causing it. But I remember just reducing my stress, just going like, I am getting all stress out of my life right now, and just calming everything down, which really helped. And I still to this day, I use that example of trying to just relax and stay in that state. Yeah, things around that time were so stressful. I literally hit rock bottom again. I was like, well, when is my immune system going to build? When is my body going to start functioning properly? But yeah, basically through the spring and into early summer, I just continue paragliding. I'm planning on finishing my course soon, and hopefully being able to fly like with loads of other people, or maybe eventually go to like the Alps and fly off mountains with a load of friends. My parents also got me an electric bike for Christmas, just to try and get around a bit more, and I did actually manage a 3-mile bike ride. It is pedal assisted, it's not just press and go or like throttle go. It is like you have to pedal, but it just takes like half of the effort out of everything. I use that probably once a week now. I managed to cycle up a massive hill that I wanted to paraglide from. It's like a different hill to the one I learnt on, and there's no road at the top of it, so I managed to cycle up the top of the hill on the electric bike with my mum. I felt like I just started unlocking things and like little goals and milestones that for the last 4 years I hadn't been able to achieve. So yeah, I managed to cycle to the top of a hill, and since then I've been doing like bike rides once a week, just a couple of miles, you know, here and there, just to keep myself moving. And I think movement has actually helped my body like detoxify, moving my lymphatic system and just like pumping my blood around my body. I've continued swimming in my wetsuit and surfing occasionally, and going for like night swims. I seem to like swimming at night more than daytime. I don't know why. It's just like, because I swim in my hometown of Brighton, and it's always like magical when you jump in the water when there's all the lights glowing and stuff. I've also been continuing to do a treatment called activated oxygen, which is literally like the only treatment that's been helping me. Well, one of them anyway. Like, I've tried a lot of treatments and a lot of stuff just hasn't helped me, but this is just like the one thing that has helped me. It seems to stop me from crashing or if I do set myself back a little bit, it's nowhere near as bad. It can literally change like a bad day to like a good day, or an extremely bad day to like an average day, and it can take like a good day to like a really good day. And I just feel like I've been able to push myself and not like suffer for it. So it's kind of, yeah, it just really, it does other stuff like relaxes and calms the nervous system and engages the parasympathetic nervous system. It seems to stop me from getting sick as well. Like I don't seem to get colds and flus now, whereas like 2, 3, 4 years ago, if I got a cold, it would set me back like a month, or it'd set me back like 6 weeks sometimes, and I'd be like, gee, I've lost like I've lost like a month and a half of my year just from getting a cold, you know. But that doesn't seem to happen now since doing the oxygen. But yeah, it's just like an incredible treatment, and I'd recommend it to anyone who's got ME or a chronic illness. It's just gentle, and yeah, I've been having to build like very, very slowly though. Every time I increase the duration of how much I'm doing, it triggers like this detox Herxheimer reaction. So I just have to kind of increase quite slowly. I've been increasing anywhere between 10 seconds to sort of 30 seconds every like 10 days. And if I increase more than that, like I tried increasing a whole minute, and that just crashed me. Like I just couldn't tolerate it. So it's obviously my detox pathways and elimination pathways aren't functioning as optimally as they could be. But yeah, apart from that, basically I got to like the summer, and I don't know why, I just like the heat, the sunshine, the vitamin D, the warmth. Just I feel so much better in the summer than I do the winter. I got to the summer and it's been so weird because my strength and my muscle memory has completely like almost fully come back. It's been amazing. The only issue is I'm still struggling with fatigue and exhaustion, and like my energy levels still aren't where they need to be of like a healthy person, and I'm still suffering from symptoms, but my strength has come back massively. So for example, I used to do calisthenics, like body weight training, and I managed to reteach myself how to do a human flag on like the flagpole in the park across the road from my parents' house. I've got a paddleboard, so I've been going out paddleboarding in the water, just being able to be out for ages, just enjoying myself, like not necessarily feeling amazing, but being able to do this stuff. I also got back on my trampoline again. I used to coach trampolining quite a few years ago before I became unwell, and all my muscle memory's still been there. I've been able to do like old tricks and new tricks. And like I went to this bridge that's like one of my favorite spots to go to. It's like my therapy spot, and I taught myself like again how to do a backflip off of this massive bridge into a river. Basically I used to be able to do a standing backflip, just standing on the floor, and I just went, screw it, I'm gonna try it. And like I was with some friends and they were filming me do it, and I managed to just throw my arms into the air and tuck over and do like a standing backflip fine. And then once I'd done that, I was like, before I became unwell, I actually used to do sounds weird, but I used to do pole dancing. It's basically like a female dominated sport, but I absolutely loved it. It was so much fun. And there was a Ukrainian guy that I used to follow, and he used to be super strong, and he had this like parkour kind of free running flow to it. He used to like flip off the pole and stuff, and I used to watch him, and he like really inspired me to do it. And basically I reached out to my old instructor and said, hey, like, do you mind if I come along to a class and just see how I get on? And she was super welcoming and so great, and she just said, yeah, literally, like, come along, and if you need to sit out for half the class, that's literally fine. So I went along and I managed to get through the whole class fine, and I thought that was just gonna be a one-off. I was like, I'm gonna crash, this is it, I'm gonna like crash and burn, that's it, I'm done, you know, I'm not gonna be able to do this consistently. But turns out I've been going every single week. No matter how I feel, I drive there, I turn up, and some weeks I do have to sit on the floor for a while, and other times I get through the whole class fine. I've actually improved massively literally in the last, I've been going every week for the last 3 months, and I've been getting through it, and it brings me like so much joy, literally, like so much. It's so fun, like I love it so much. And yeah, I'd love to compete one day. And yeah, it literally just feels amazing to be able to do this stuff that I dreamt of doing when I was like bedbound. And then yeah, so I've been doing that, and I plan to continue classes every week. I'm a little bit worried about COVID, but who knows, like each pole in the studio is like spread out, so I'm hoping to kind of just like get through all good. I was also suggested by a friend that like if I'm able to do pole classes and calisthenics, I should be able to start walking. Now I was very like about this. I didn't feel comfortable at all. It felt so unnatural because I still don't feel well, and yeah, but I just know that movement makes me feel so much better. So my friend Claudia, who's fully recovered from ME, she said, you know, just try a half a mile walk and see how you get on. Just don't have to do anything else for the next 2-3 days. just go for a walk and see how you get on. Like I've walked short distances, like down the beach or from a car park to an appointment or something like that. I don't know, less than 100 meters, but I've not actually stepped out the front door and gone for a walk. But I tried and I managed to do it, and now I'm doing roughly 1 to 2 half-a-mile walks each week.
Just going for my first walk in 4 years. This is a really weird feeling. This is such an alien feeling. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like crying right now. Can't really explain what this feels like. Just going past the pub now, so hopefully I won't bump into anyone.
And then yeah, finally, literally like a couple of weeks ago, I reached out to my friends that I used to work with. I used to do like video editing work, and they said when I got on well that I was always welcome back to come back to them. So I reached out to them, and yeah, they kind of welcomed me back into like the job. I'm not getting paid yet, it's all unpaid, but I'm doing like 1 day a week's work, like spread out over 2 days. And I'm going to try and build that up to like 2 full days or 2 3/4 days, for example, and just see how I get on, and hopefully I can slowly ease myself back to work again. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at really. Like I've been doing more film work, editing work, like things have looked kind of up recently, and it's been weirdly good. I'm still suffering from some symptoms like tinnitus all the time, like 24/7. Like I don't know whether it's gotten better or not over time, I can't really tell. And then sometimes I get brain fog, but it's not as bad because I've been like sitting up more, and I probably spend like maybe 2 hours in bed each day, but it's not like all the time. And yeah, some people will have gotten ill and will be where I am now, like they can still work part-time or whatever. But like, I don't know if you saw my videos from years ago, but I was literally completely bedridden, and like there's videos I didn't post up of me like having a breakdown. Like literally I didn't have anyone else to talk to, so I just grabbed the camera and start filming, and I knew that I wanted to capture how dark of a place I was in at that time, because no one else would understand apart from the people that are watching this video who have gone through it or are going through it. And like there were times that I just wanted to give up, and like now to be where I am, where I can look forward to going to a pole class once a week, or I can look forward to jumping off a bridge into a river, or I can look forward to going for a swim in my wetsuit, or I can look forward to working 1 day a week, or I can look forward to going for a half-a-mile walk twice a week, and I can look forward to getting up and editing a few videos, and I can look forward to making a meal, and I can look forward to getting out of bed and knowing I can get out of bed each day, even if I don't feel amazing. So that's pretty much where I'm at. I have stopped working with that doctor in London full-time, but he told me that I'm suffering from mold toxicity, so I am reaching out to some practitioners who have got experience of mold and have fully recovered from mold toxicity. I know the oxygen therapy, like mold hates oxygen, so it sort of suppresses oxygen, and maybe that's why it's taken me such a long time to build up. I also have done a test, and it shows that I've got high levels of, not high levels, but some levels of mercury in my system, so maybe pathogens are binding to that. But I feel like a weight has been lifted from my body most of the time. Yeah, I genuinely don't feel as ill as I used to, which is like, yeah, proof's in the pudding really of where I'm at. So without further ado, guys, I'm gonna let you go now. Thank you for watching my journey, and like thank you for the people who have just watched from the beginning as well, my early videos. If you are new, feel free to go back to my earlier videos and see how ill I was. I was completely bedbound. Like I needed my parents to bring all my food to me on a tray 3 times a day. Like talking about it kind of screws me up. I still haven't processed it all, like all of that. I've still got a long way to go, but I've come a long way as well, and if you want to stick by this like journey with me, then I'd love to update you guys in a few months and let you know how I'm doing, or especially by the spring for sure. Anyway guys, if you're struggling, don't give up. There is light at the end of the tunnel. There is like, sometimes people are so unwell they can't even imagine being fully recovered, and that's okay. You don't have to believe you're going to fully recover, just to believe that you're going to improve, you know, because to fully recover you need to improve, and there's stepping stones to get there, and just focus on the step in front of you, not the end goal. But yeah, I think I put a lot of pressure on myself at the beginning to fully recover. I need to fully recover, and like I believe I will fully recover, but you've got to just make traction, you know. And I think believing about you're going to fully recover is like is a big part of it, you know, because it makes you take actions to actually improve, like big time. But yeah, there's a lot of things that have helped me and have not helped me. But yeah, guys, it is the end of September 2022, and I plan to make another update video maybe by the new year time and just let you guys know how I'm doing. Anyway, all the best with all your recoveries, and I'll keep you posted in a few months how I'm doing. And yeah, I'll speak to you then. All right, goodbye.